I've just had a very successful game on Egypt in which I had the largest empire on the map. This time around we are going to have a bit of a different approach because we are playing a one city challenge at the noble difficulty. Same difficulty as the Egypt game, and the one that I would recommend if you are experienced with 4X games and don't want to be crushed too hard by the AI. The map seed for this map is 16854,594 if you want to go and play on this map. I actually really like the starting location. We are playing as Babylon, their bonuses are as such. All cities have +1 signs and 20% growth, and they get +2 culture per treasury. That means in our case we get +2 culture for our treasury. They start out with the trapping technology, administration and rhetoric. They have the shrine of Nabu. Nabu was the god of literacy, and this gives us some signs and also some culture per semester. Then there is the shrine of Ishtar. Ishtar was the goddess of fertility, and this is represented here by giving us some growth. Then there is the shrine of Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal is the goddess of the dead, of the underworld. I find it very interesting that for both Egypt and for Babylonia, the shrine that gives you culture is represented by the god or goddess of death. Then there is the shrine of Marduk, Marduk being the patron god for the city of Babylonia, and it makes sense that we would be getting some civics out of this one. Each shrine also has some more bonuses. This one, for example, gives us some orders per adjacent wonder. This one gives us culture per adjacent mountain or volcano. This one gives us 20% output for pastures, and the one for Nabu gives +1 civic per semester per adjacent Odeon. There's also our unique units, the Akkadian Archer and the Cimmerian Archer. Our leader is Nebuchadnezzar. We're gonna go into our leader in a moment, and we start with these 4 families. The Kassid family, which gives +2 training per semester, and ranged units start with the Sentinel promotion. The Sentinel promotion is actually pretty darn good. I think you can only get this from family bonuses. It is not a natural promotion to have. Then there is the Chaldean family. The Chaldean family gives +4 culture per semester, and new siege and ship weapons start with ingenuity. There we go. Ingenuity, which is +20% combat bonus. Mines and lumber mills have 20% output, and it takes 2 semesters less to build urban improvements. Not bad. I was considering going with these, specifically because mines and lumber mills giving more output is really not bad for us. The only problem I'm seeing with this is that we might be leaning more heavily into having into having quarries. Okay, so the next family then is the Isin family. The Isin family can add multiple roads per year. The upgrade time for hamlets is 10 turns less, and they get 20 gold per semester per bullion resource. It also unlocks the caravan, and they start out with a court merchant. Oh, I think I forgot to mention what the starting bonuses is for the other families. So the Kassite family starts with 50 resources, and the Chaldean family gains a worker when founding their city. Then there is the Amorite family, which has +2 civics per semester and +1 science per semester per specialist. urban specialists cost 20% less, and they have access to inquiry. Inquiry, adding signs per turn, and no, adding culture per turn and giving a little bit of signs when completed. Their starting bonus is that you require a random technology. Alright, next up, our leader is Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is a scholar who starts out with 3 wisdom. As a governor, he gives +2 science per archive, and as a leader, it unlocks inquiry in our capital. Meaning that we do not have to pick the sages family to have access to inquiries. As a governor, we get +10 gold per semester per culture level, and as a leader, all cities have +5 semester per culture level. Alright, now that all that is out of the way, let us found our capital. And this is the location in which we are playing. This is a one city location, which means that this is a one city challenge, which means that basically we are locked into this location. So I'm very happy to see that we have a ton of mountains protecting us from enemies, at least over on one side of the map. The terrain itself looks very defensible. If we have our specialty units here, our unique units in some forts, you know, having some archers, it should be relatively hard to kill us. There's a couple of really good locations for some quarries back here. For example, there's a really nice pocket for a quarry, and there is some more, you know, really good locations for quarries. We also have access to some crop resources here, meaning we will have decent growth. There is a decent forest over here next to a river, and lumber mills get more output next to river, so that is great. There's also some good locations for some mines. Specifically up here, we can have a nice gem mine, which also counts as a bullion resource, meaning we get more gold from this from the traders family if we were to pick that. We can build a few other mines in here. That would be great. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some more land over on the other side of this mountain range. You can see, for example, that there's another good location over here. When it comes to which family to pick, this is a very difficult choice to make in a one city challenge. However, I am leaning toward the traders. There's one specific reason for that. We have access to inquiry based on our leader, so this one isn't so great for us. The civics and science pattern is really good, and building urban specialists faster is also very good. However, we want to make sure that we are on friendly terms with the AI players as much as possible, and we will need a ton of gold. We will need a lot of gold because we will want to try and grow our borders as much as possible. Hopefully it will take the AI players a long time to reach our location so that we can grow our city really far and wide. The reason we want a lot of gold is because it costs a lot of money to gain more tiles. We can also obviously build urban specialists, or not urban specialists, I mean rural specialists, to extend our borders. Also very interesting to note is that we have 2 luxury resources here. That is very important to have for us, because you can only have one of each luxury resource in your city. So this means that we can lower the stress in our city a significant amount with just the ones that are right around our location. Alright. All that said, I'm absolutely certain that I will go with the traders in this particular scenario. I do not know how it will go, but I think that going with the traders is a good option because we start out with a court merchant, we have better opinion with distant cities, and we can build caravans, which is a good source of money if we can build them in succession. You gotta keep in mind that we only have one city though, so it is going to be interesting to find out just what are we going to build, right? Because we can only build so much. We are going to try though to make our city into the mega capital that it needs to be. It is going to be very interesting only having access to one city. Alright, and there is our court merchant. His name is Bonaburiash, the merchant. And he has 4 wisdom and -1 courage. He is affable, so he has more growth. That is interesting, but for now, he's not going to be a governor. Alright, we can then choose our starting research. And this is a interesting choice, because we can go either with stone cutting, so we can build our quarries early on, because as you can see, we are currently at -3 stone per turn, and it is absolutely necessary for us to build a early wonder. In our case, let us see what is available, because not all wonders are available each time. Okay, in our case, the Great Ziggurat is actually a absolutely important pickup for us, because -20% improvement cost and +20 civics per turn is really great for us. So I think that the Great Ziggurat is a mandatory pickup here for us. For the Great Ziggurat, we will need to have access to divination, because we need a holy city, but we also need the stone to build it. As you can see, it requires 600 stone. So that tells me that we might want to start with stone cutting, so we can start building our very early quarries here in our starting location. There is a city site down here, but that is of no interest to us. However, next to city sites, there's usually some valuable resources. What I want to look at first though is up here. So I'm very pleased to see that there is a urban tile over here with some ancient ruins, and there is also a honey tile over here, and there is some game over here. It is very good when you can find tiles like these, because that allows you to grow your borders toward them much easier. I am going to take my scout and step into these ruins to see what we can find. Our expedition comes upon an impressive Pavel road system leading between wood structures that have long since rotted away. The engineering required to build such a site was far ahead of its time. What would you have us do with it? Okay, we can study the technology, which will unlock labor force. Labor force and the tech tree is up here. Not a bad pickup for us, because it would quicken our pace in this upper bracket. We want to be going in this upper bracket as much as possible. After researching metaphysics and I believe maybe constitution or perhaps anything of those, right, we also want polytheism, so we can build all of the shrines, right? After polytheism, I think we are more than likely going to stick mainly to this upper bracket, so that perhaps we can win by economic reform. We're going to have to see. We're going to dive completely deep into science. It is a completely science-based game. We're not going to bother with culture much. Yes, having culture is going to be great for us, but quite honestly, we don't need as much culture, because we are not going to win by culture no matter what, because the most points that our city can give us is, well, I don't know, 5 points if it's a legendary 1 city, 6 points if it's a legendary 2. Well, there's not really much point in that, is there? Anyhow, I do believe that I might want to step out at least a little bit further to see what's out here. Oh, there's some more resources over here. Okay, so this tells me that it might be lucrative for me to grow my city out in this location. Because as you can see, there's a good quarry location, there's a farmable resource, there's some groves here. Growing my city out this way doesn't seem like a bad choice. Oh, and I completely forgot about this. Let us go and pick up 200 stone, because I think that is much better than the other option. And also, we're getting 1 discipline per turn, which already starts our economy, because we want a lot of that. Okay, so off camera, I went ahead and I put a few markers out here. I'm not gonna go through them, it's just so that I know exactly what I want to be building and where. I might even remove them at some point. For now, I think it's very important that we think about, you know, our build order. Because the fact that we only have 1 city means that we need to have the most ideal build order. It would be really good for us to have a second worker, however currently that is a 5-turn build, and even if we were to put our governor in, which costs us 2 orders by the way, that is still a 5-turn build. However, if we go ahead down here, buy 1 order with some of the training we have, because we don't really need that currently, and we improve this farm, that is going to take 3 turns, and that should in theory make this worker that we are going to start building a 4-turn build. Because right now, if you look at this, we have 12 base growth, and then we get 120% of that because we have 20% from being Babylonia. So once the farm is complete, that brings us up to 16.8 growth. And if you do the math on it, then 3 times, so 3 turns worth of 14.4 growth, plus 1 times 16.8 is exactly 60 growth. Now, I don't know if it's going to work out like that, but if my math is to be believed, then this worker is going to be a 4-turn build. And I think a 4-turn worker is absolutely the way to go here. Okay, turn 2. And I would like to move my scout out and about in this direction. But you know what? I'd rather know what's in this direction, because it's not like we can grow our city much further than here anyway, realistically. So I'd rather know what's over on this side. So I think I'm going to be stepping up on this hill, hoping that it's going to reveal a little bit, but nope, it didn't. So instead, next up is this hill, and that revealed sadly nothing else either. Okay, but we still have some orders left. Let's see what promotions we have available for our slinger unit here. Not much, honestly. Let's see what generals we have available. This spy master isn't too bad. He has a little bit of an attack strength penalty, but he will level up our archer over time a little bit. So I'm thinking that we definitely do want to be moving this guy around. The question is, do we want to keep our orders and sell them for 50 gold apiece, right? Because right now this is worth 50 gold. Or do we want to move our our slinger maybe up here and see if maybe we can discover something up here with our slinger and do a little bit of scouting as well. I don't think it's a bad idea to try and maybe get some value out of the slinger and using the orders that we have available. We still have 2 orders, and you know, I think I might use one of them to go ahead and add this general, because 6 experience per turn is really not that bad. But then again, we might also want to be using this guy to educate our heir. So yes, we're not going to do that because we definitely want to be educating our heir, because it's very important that they become very, very good. And that then is the end of the turn. Alright, turn 3, and just as I said, it is very important for us to be tutoring our heir, and she is now old enough to be tutored. We can also choose what sort of education we want for her, and we want scholars. We don't want any other leader type, we only want scholars. If you look into these, then a judge doesn't really work for us because we don't want to upgrade anything. Hurrying with money is okay, but as a scholar, you know, we have access to inquiry, and we have the leader mission to tutor our child. Actually, now that you mention it, can we... Oh, right, so we can do that with our leader, and it only costs us 2 orders. Okay, that means that we definitely can make this guy level up our slinger unit over here, because we can simply educate our heir with ourselves. You can see that the chances for the stats are as follows. There's a 24% chance that they gain some wisdom, a 14% chance for charisma, 14 for courage, and 17 chance for improving their discipline, and a 28% chance for a 28% chance for a tutoring event. And that takes 4 semesters to complete, and we want to do as many of them as possible. Next up, we have to choose obviously the education, and there's 2 possible ones we can go for to get a scholar archetype, and I think I'm gonna go with politics here, because having a little bit more charisma won't hurt, because charisma is really useful in terms of how it is going to help with the foreign opinions, and also if we end up having to choose something other than scholar, I would rather choose either an orator or a diplomat. If we are forced to choose anything other than scholar, if we choose philosophy, I do not want to be picking any of these, so we are definitely going into politics. Okay, next up we are going to be doing a little bit of scouting. We have 7 orders left, and if you check out this here, the worker is still 3 turns away. We have gone through 2 turns so far. This is going to be done next turn, and if it then says 1 turn left, our math was correct. Let's go ahead and step up on this hill here. Oh, would you look at that? We found a encampment. We deal a little bit more damage to them standing here than they deal to us, so perhaps we should stay here. I do have the undo button active because I think in a 1 city challenge I should have access to that. If we step closer, they deal less damage to us than we deal to them still. So I think it might be a good idea to try and clear this out. However, I don't know if we can clear this out fast enough. We cannot move anymore this turn, unless we go back and perhaps go over here. Oh, yep, 2 legitimacy. I will definitely go and take that. And then we can see that there is a forest back there. And we could already step into this forest over here for this turn and start getting an attack on this unit. I think getting access to this forest, you know, is going to keep us alive hopefully the next unit that spawns is another ranged unit. You could argue that perhaps we wouldn't need to do this because obviously we don't want to have this city side, but I think it might not be a bad idea to plonk our unit down on the city side and perhaps even try to grow to it. I don't know what it will do if we eat up a city side with our first city's borders. Can we even do that? But either way, I think it would be a good idea to try and occupy this so the AI doesn't settle too close to us. Then we can use our scout, and I think the best scouting location is if we were to go up on this hill over here or that hill down there. Not sure which would be the better choice for right now. Let us go up here first, then maybe there, and then maybe there. Oh, we got some more legitimacy. Yeah, I will take that. Maybe we'll go around in a circle around this volcano here. There's another hill we could stand on. But we don't have any more orders left. Do we want to buy this order? Do we need the training? See, I wanted to add the general, but this unit is going to be busy basically every turn anyway. So let's just go ahead and buy this order. Though I don't think it's necessary. Okay, I don't think it's necessary because we're gonna have another turn and we're gonna get new orders anyway. So let us just end this turn. Okay, very good news then for us, because our wife has given birth to a son. That's great. And also she became gracious, giving her 2 more charisma. And I do believe that my wife actually is quite charismatic with 7 charisma. So if we were to put her as the ambassador, that would be a good deal for us because she would have a ton of foreign opinion. Also, we can now check if our math checked out. And as you can see, it did. This is now a 1-turn build, and we are 2 turns away from stoneworking. So that means to me that I have 2 turns that I can do something with this builder if I wanted to. I think for the time being, I'm going to step closer to this unit and attack it. That way it should take me 2 more turns, maybe 3, to kill it, and we're barely getting damaged by them. And down here we are going to continue our circle. There's also an argument to be made about perhaps maybe harvesting these camels. Do I want to harvest the camels? That is going to give me some gold. Currently I have no use for my gold, other than perhaps, you know, like working toward the wonder we are trying to build. Okay, let me go back, and instead of going on this hill, we are going on these camels. Oh, we found Carthage. Right, how is their opinion of me? So their opinion of me is not very good because we are very close to them. That means perhaps giving them a 120 gold gift might not be a bad idea. Okay, I'm not very happy being that close to Carthage. Specifically because, you know, like, them being this close to me, they will possibly eat up a lot of the land around me by settling these city sites. I will definitely want to try and occupy the city sites so that they cannot settle there for at least a while longer. We are then going to go ahead and spend a order to get some gold. We already did everything else that we can do aside from our worker. Now we can go and step on this hill and then on that hill, and we're just going to complete the circle here. Okay. Nothing really interesting out here, but there's a few good lumber mills that we could build here. And now we're going to have to think about what we are going to do with our builder. We have exactly 2 turns left until we want to be building our first quarry in this very location. This is the best quarry we can build currently. So I think we should build it here. And going out here and removing these trees. Jesus, okay, I'm in the wrong thing. Removing these trees for 20 lumber is probably not a bad idea. We have the orders to spend, so we might as well grab these trees. They're worth more than selling this order after all. And now we can end our turn. The princess then gains 40 experience in turn 5, and that is very good for me, because that means she is leveling up. I cannot improve my relationship with Dido. My gift is going to lose value every turn, so we want to make sure that we improve our relationships with Dido as fast as possible. She doesn't like that we're so close to her. Honestly, Dido, we don't like that you are so close to us either, but there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, up here, the choice of what we are going to do is relatively easy. We are going to be attacking this unit, plonk, and then, yeah, it's still going to take 2 turns to kill this unit. Then we're going to have to, we want to continue our research, and we're going to have to choose what we are going to be doing with our builders and what we are going to make in here. So there is an argument to be made about perhaps making a quick farmer, perhaps starting on another one of these farms for some more growth. We want the caravan as quickly as possible. And right now that is a 5-turn build. I haven't exactly done the math on this. I would need to close the video and do the math if it's worth it for me to go ahead and do another farm and see if that can then be a quicker build for us, because having that very early to get the opinion boost with Dido wouldn't be a bad idea. I wasn't thinking I was going to be building the caravan this early, because honestly having these civic based things wouldn't be bad. Specifically, I want to be using inquiry as much as possible so that we can get the signs. However, there's also nothing against perhaps waiting until a later time to do these inquiries, because this is a 10-turn build currently and not really worth it for me right now. Alright, so I've done the math on the caravan. If we want the first caravan that we build to be a 4-turn build, then we need to have 16 base growth. Currently we have base growth of 14. No, we need 18 base growth. So we need to add 2 more. Either we could improve 2 more of these farms, which is going to take 3 turns each. That wouldn't be such a bad idea, but it will get us a little bit late. It will make us a little bit late to build our quarries. Now the question is that such a problem? I mean, we're not going to use almost any of our stone, and even just having 1 quarry starting basically 4 turns from now is going to produce us 10 stone per turn, which means that it would take us around, 6 turns to have 60 and 10 turns to have 100. So 2 would be more ideal, 3 would be perfect. We want to be building a farmer on this tile here, so that we can have a very good quarry here and then an absolutely amazing quarry down there. However, these two are also relatively good ones. So I'm thinking currently that it is probably the best idea for me to go ahead and build 2 more farms out here. And in the meantime, as we are not going to be able to build this caravan, we could build a number of things. We could either go ahead and work on a forum and just put 3 turns into that, so it's a little bit closer to completion, right? Or we could start on this farmer, which I don't want to do because obviously I have limited citizens, and the first farmer I make I want to put into this tile up here. We could work on a militia, giving us a little bit more military strength, or we could be working on a slinger, however we wouldn't be able to finish that. Having access to another worker might also not be a bad idea. The thing that we need to keep in mind is that obviously things get more expensive over time, right? The production cost for this worker has now gone up to 65, but it still only costs us 4 turns worth. So I don't really care about how much the production cost is. I look more into the turns of how long it takes us. So this is a 4 turn build. So if we go worker into caravan, that might not be a bad build. Going forum isn't a bad idea either, because then, like our second specialist is not going to take as many turns, because then we have 9 civics. Upping our civics output is not a bad idea, also because we obviously want to be saving up a couple of civics. It's really a tough choice, but I personally do believe that getting our 3rd worker is a little bit more important than getting the forum, because 1 civic per turn, it's good. Let's start on the forum. I think, getting that out of the way would be a good idea. Because then I will never build it otherwise, right? When am I ever going to build this? And I need to build it. I really do need to build it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put down these farms. 20 lumber a piece. Thankfully, we picked up some lumber and we still have a little bit of lumber laying around. That means, though, that we only have 2 orders left for our scout. But we can move over there, reveal another crop resource, and then we have 1 turn left, but none of this is hills. I kind of want to know what's here directly next to the city side. Okay, so there seems to be nothing directly. Yeah, I wonder if I can hold the city side with my scout. What I'm trying to look for is finding more of these ancient ruins. So I like to not have any, fog of war, if you want to call it fog of war, fog of not explored yet. Like over here, there's a little bit of fog, and that makes me a little bit I might try to clear that next turn. For now, this is the end of the turn. In turn 6, we can then choose our next research. The good thing about having a scholar leader is that we can draw from our draw pile. So if we go in here, right, you can see that all of these are in my draw pile. Any that I don't research this time around are going to go into my discard pile. I believe you can't pick anything from your discard pile if you have stuff in your draw pile. So basically anything we don't research now, we're more than likely going to have access to next time around again, because our discard pile isn't going to be all that big. While having hamlets early wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think that's something we need to rush, and metaphysics just takes too long. For me, it's between divination and 200 stone. 200 stone is a lot. 200 stone brings us, very close to our wonder. Right now we still have 263, so let's just say we have 200 stone right now. And then with 200 stone, that's 400 stone, right? And we need 600. So that means that we would only need to spend 10 turns with a surplus of 20 stone to be able to build our wonder. And that is quite good. However, we also obviously want to be building some shrines and so on. I believe that the Shrine of Marduk is a little bit more important than building the ziggurat. But both are really important and both need stone, and stone is relatively expensive, and our gold gain is going to be a little bit limited. Yes, we are getting a good amount of it, but I do think that the 200 stone is definitely the way we're gonna go. Next up, we can up here deal with these barbs. 8 turns until that's done. I believe it's probably best for me to kill this unit first before I clear this out. So let's go ahead and do that. And then with my scout, am I gonna cheat with the undo button? See, I could cheat and just go and walk down here and see what's down there, but I don't want to do that. But I think I'm gonna go in. Oh, nice. I think I'm gonna go in kind of like a generous circle around this site here, to try and see if maybe we can find something. I believe that us stepping into this would secure this for us, even if it's just with a scout. It would be better, obviously, with a military unit, but we'll see. I do want to know what happens if I grow my border all the way to the city side. If it's just going to become part of this city and I can just build stuff there. We're going to have to see. We have 4 orders left, but absolutely nothing to do with them. We're still educating our heir. It is taking 4 turns to do that. We could also theoretically, be spending the gold to tutor our child. Where is our daughter? There we are. We could tutor her with this merchant. Not a bad idea either, but it costs 200 gold, and I don't know if I want to spend that. On the other hand, we don't know just how good my relationship with Dido is going to be, so perhaps it would be good for us to spend a few turns here. It takes 3 turns to do that, to influence Dido, giving us a 40 relationship boost. So it's a difficult choice to make because both is really important. But that's the end of a turn. Tutoring our child has led to her receiving 1 charisma, and that is very good indeed. We then also meet the Hittites, and we could have a very good relationship with them off the start, and I think that is what we are going to pick. They are all the way over there, so their relationship with us is a little bit better, even though they also have this penalty of being close to us. Those caravans are going to be very important. Anyway, I am going to take the scout now and step up on this hill and then see what we can... Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Let's step into that. We could become exotic, which is not bad for us because we can gain access to some civics, and this would also increase the amount of civics in Babylon by 0.9, so by 12%. Or we could pick up more wisdom. Whew, that's a tough choice. Wisdom would be very good for us, not gonna lie. I think we're going to pick the wisdom because eventually we're gonna have built almost everything we can build in our city, right? But science is going to be the number one thing that we need to focus on in this game if we want to have any chance of winning. So let us go and pick up some more science. Also, I believe it was a bit of a oopsie for me to not go ahead and tutor my daughter, but we can do that now. I think the reason why I didn't was because I was considering that perhaps it would be good for me to improve my relationship with Dido. We're obviously playing a very dangerous game by not being very friendly with these guys. But hopefully it is not going to bite us in our ass. We still have 2 left. I'm not sure if this is a mountain pass here. Maybe it is, but I don't think we would be finding much else out there. So perhaps it would be better for us to step up on this hill here. Oh, and we found Persia as well. Okay. We've lost a lot of our gold from this, but I do not want to be using the undo button all the time. What's this? Inspired by nature. Oh, we get a little bit of a trait here. So she could become humble, or she could become loyal, and I think humble would probably be the better option for us in the long run. Okay, so I don't like how close everyone is. Why is everybody so close? Like they're just like one city away from us each. I mean, they're down on this side, so perhaps there's no one over on that side. We're just gonna have to see which direction these people are. But for now, this is the end of the turn. And just like I feared, Carthage is already here to claim this for herself. And I don't know where I found. I was hovering over this because I thought I found a place where I can kill this unit, but turns out not. I don't know if maybe I want to attack this unit anyway. I mean, they can attack it next turn, but perhaps they can't move into it, you know, and attack. So perhaps we just attack, get some experience on our unit, then they attack, and maybe we can then step into it. We're gonna have to see if that is possible. I don't know how viable it is for us to try and hold this location. Honestly, there is nothing really worth up here anyway for us. There is no resources or anything worth growing toward. Whereas down here, we at least have this one growth resource. And, you know, like this forest here will give us plenty of lumber. Next up, then, we can choose our research, and this is what I mean by it's very good to have a scholar leader because we want divination, right? So we can just redraw and pick divination. That means we have 3 turns before we want to be building the Shrine of Marduk on exactly this spot. We also want to be building our caravan, and I believe it would probably be good to switch over to the caravan. See, it is now a 4-turn build. We do not lose progress on the forum. We can continue it another time. And in the meantime, right, we could build a quarry down there. This quarry up here is only going to give us 10, whereas the quarry down here is going to give us 12. That is going to take 3 turns. Alright, and in 3 turns we also want to be building the Shrine of Marduk. So what am I going to do in the meantime? I could get some more gold by building this mine. Or I could build another... I could build another of these quarries out here. I don't know if I want to be building this quarry here though, or if I'd rather wait until I can build the quarries down here. However, we would have to wait until we build this farmer over here. Sadly, it's only going to give us this 1 tile, and then we're going to have to build a stone cutter there and, you know, grow even further down. So I don't know if I want to build a quarry here, or perhaps I might want to build a granary here, right? So the granary, if I were to build it, that would give me a lot more growth, meaning that I can build militia and, you know, all these things that you can build with growth, like caravans and so on. I can build that even faster if I have this caravan. And this is the only place that really makes sense for the granary. The granary is a 4-turn build, so that's okay. I mean, we can always use this guy down here to go up here and chop this woods and then build the shrine up there. We could also first go ahead and chop this and then build the granary. But yeah, I do believe that the granary would be a massive boon for us here rather than a quarry, because yes, we will need a lot of stone, but we will hardly be spending any stone throughout this entire game, and there's plenty of good locations for us to pick up. Like up here, 1, 2, 3 quarries up here are going to be really strong as well for us. So I do think that perhaps we are going to go and chop this so that we can build the Shrine of Marduk right away, but we're also not wasting this resource, right? Getting the lumber here is a good idea. Then we have exactly 2 moves left, which would be enough to go onto this elephant and harvest it for 30 gold, which I think is what we are going to do. There we go, that's 30 gold. This guy might get attacked, but that's okay with me. And that's already the end of a turn again. Okay, on turn 9, we have a very interesting offer here from the Hittites, or the Hatti as they are called. They want to establish relations with us because they respect us. Interesting. We could accept them with open arms, which would give us 2 charisma. Not bad, because that would boost our civics, and boosting our civics is very good because that helps us, first of all, enact laws. Second of all, help us build things a little bit faster in our capital of Babylon. So this 12% might only be 0.9 right now, but if we finish our forum, that might actually shave an entire turn off of our first farmer, and that to me is absolutely great. Also, this could lead to a lot of future events, and one of them being peace with the Hatti, and that would be absolutely fantastic. I don't know which ones of them we're going to get, but I do believe that becoming gracious is better than getting 4 orders or 2 legitimacy. So let's go ahead and accept this. Oh, didn't want to click that. Okay, next up on our agenda is then up here. The Carthaginians were actually not able to move into this tile, as you know, I had feared they may be able to do. I believe I want to scout ahead a little bit. Okay, that was too far. But then I might actually just go and step in this, just to stop them from getting there. I mean, there's nothing else I want to really be doing with this unit. I don't know if this is going to make them dislike me. You know, is it going to dislike? Is this going to make them dislike me if I'm holding this? But I am going to hold this just to keep them from settling there for a little bit. I mean, I don't want to get too aggressive with the AI. At some point, maybe, once we've built all of our infrastructure and there's nothing else for us to build other than military, we might actually start building a little bit of a military, and that might actually help us out to perhaps go on a few offenses here with the AI. Maybe we could become allied with somebody and then we could help them out. You know, we're basically just a city-state. As long as we have enough defenses to keep ourselves safe, though, that is basically what I'm hoping for. We are more than definitely going to try and build a lot of forts here and there to protect ourselves. You know, like for example, this river over here, right, is a good line of defense. So building a couple of forts out here, you know, on all these hills, right? So you have all these hills here, having tons of forts here, with units on the forts, might not be a bad idea. And then down here, obviously, we could have a fort on this hill and stuff. It just depends, right? Having two forts here might be really nice for us as well, so that we can defend better against the incoming enemies. Also, obviously, having forest helps out as well against ranged attacks. But if you don't have forests, you can build forts. And there's something else we really want to be doing with our stone. There's two wonders I want to build. I don't think I will be building any more wonders than that, but we're gonna have to see. I don't know yet where this game is going to go. We are then going to go ahead and move around with our scout a little bit more. I think we're going to spend a order here to harvest this, and then we can obviously keep moving. And I think it might be better for us to move into this tile. Yeah, and then we have one order left, but nothing really to do. Well, we could go ahead and promote you, or add a general. This guy obviously gives a little bit of experience per turn, so perhaps not a bad idea for us to just spend this one extra order we have appointing this guy to our unit, making sure it gains a little bit of experience every turn. How much is that? That is 6 experience per turn, right? And it needs 100. So yeah, you know, it's not going to help much, but it is going to help a little bit. It is going to make the unit slightly weaker, but only 1%, right? It only removes 1% combat strength, but really isn't much at all. Anyway, that has been the 9th turn, and this is the end of the episode. I hope to see more of you in the coming episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.